Old Colt and Gelding Trot. First $20,000 division tonight. The one is CSI Turn and Burn, owned by the CSI Farm, trained and driven by Bill Mount Pleasant. Don McCurgan drives the 2 Striking Murph for trainer Marty Woolham. Striking Murph is owned by Acadia Farms and Patty Woolham. 3 Over the Wire is owned by John Brown, Steve Brannon Conditions, and Jeff Out is aboard. 4 Double Dutch, owned and trained by Richard Neff, Charlie Neff. 5 Baloney Lips is owned by Fred Polk. Jim Pantliano drives for trainer Eric Nesselrode. 6 Pop Pop is owned by Donna Jean Anderson, trained and driven by Brian Weaver. 7 is out. 8 is Air Touch, owned by James Glass and Robert Kaufman. Danny Collins trains, Dave Hawks the pilot. And the 9 is Amazing Tiger, owned by Donald Ray Breeze and Patrick Sibler of Cincinnati, trained and driven by Frank Todd Jr. The Gelding Trotters are lined up for Sire Stakes action. Off-stride the 6 Pop Pop. They're off. Double Dutch, Air Touch from the outside. From 4 wide goes Amazing Tiger. Then we get Striking Murph, who will settle away just off the tempo in the 4th spot as they head into the turn. Baloney Lips is racing in 5th, followed by CSI Turn and Burn. Over the Wire has 1 horse beaten, and that is the distant trailer Pop Pop, who is back on gate but far back, trailing the field. And Air Touch is 3 to the good now as Double Dutch goes on a break, and Amazing Tiger inherits the 2nd spot. 29 seconds flat for the opening quarter, moving past the stands for the first time. And Dave Hawk has Air Touch setting the tempo in here from Amazing Tiger in the 2-hole. Gap of 2 lengths back. Striking Murph stays in 3rd as Baloney Lips is coming with a surge on the outside now into the 3rd spot, and Over the Wire follows cover 5th. Gap of 2 lengths farther back to CSI Turn and Burn, who's guided to the outside. 5 more to Double Dutch, and then about 10 lengths back to Pop Pop as they round the turn on their way to halftime. It's Air Touch in charge, 1 minute and 2/5. Air Touch by just over a length, with Baloney Lips just off his wheels in 2nd, followed by Amazing Tiger gapped out at the pylons in 3rd. Over the Wire is in range, 2.5 off the lead, now into the 3rd spot as Amazing Tiger continues to lose ground. Striking Murph is called on for his best. He's 5 off the lead and trying to get into gear. Then it's 2 back to CSI Turn and Burn, and much farther back to Double Dutch and Pop Pop. It's Air Touch. He's been unchallenged on the lead, 1:30-1, on around to the top of the stretch. Air Touch by 2.5 lengths. Over the Wire reclaims 2nd. Baloney Lips could not sustain his bid, and Over the Wire comes out of the pocket to challenge Air Touch as they come down the stretch. It's Air Touch on the inside, leading by a length. Here comes Over the Wire to take him on in the final 16th. Gap of 3. Striking Murph comes into 3rd, followed by a fading Baloney Lips, and Over the Wire takes over the lead and draws away to win the 1st division of the 2-year-old Colt Trot. Finishing 2nd was Air Touch, then it was Striking Murph, 2 minutes and 4. $3.8 exact at $55.40. Try 382, 304.80. Back to the winner's circle. It's Over the Wire, a 2-year-old bay colt by call toll free from Eggs Over Easy by Overcomer, owned by John Brown of Toledo, trained by Steve Brannon, and driven to victory by Jeff Out. 2 minutes and 4/5. First career victory for Over the Wire, who is bred by his owner in the state of Ohio. The OHHA's Jerry Knappenberger in the winner's circle to help make the presentation of the winning connections. First leg of the Hickory Lane Farm Series for 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers, a field of 6, exactus tries. Number 1 is Gaetano, owned by the Big Hat Stable. Greg Grismore's up. 2 Matthews Boy, owned by Ira Christel with Jeff Fout. 3 Our Gypsy Dancer, Bob Harper drives for Robert Dalrymple and trainer David Abbott. 4 Coyote Hanover is owned by Ed Mullinax and James Simpson of Ohio and PA. Brett Miller's up. O'Shade is the 5, owned in partnership by Breidenbach and Diamond Chip Stable and Scott Mogan, Chip Noble. 6, The Grinch is owned by Lamb, and Lamb. Tom Lamb trains, Dave Hawk drives. 6 minutes. And there they go. They're rough. Fast beginning for our Gypsy Dancer, goes right out to take the lead. Matthews Boy will come away pocketed second, gap of 3.5 lengths back to the Grinch outside of O'Shade. They're third and fourth, 4 in front of Gaetano. And Coyote Hanover is last, better than a dozen lengths off the pace, being set by our Gypsy Dancer midway around the far turn. He and Bobby Harper lead it by 2. Matthews Boy drafts in from second, followed by O'Shade. The Grinch takes a tuck fourth, and then we get Gaetano and Coyote Hanover. 28 and 4 for the opening quarter as they move by the stands for the first time. And your 6-5 favorite is making the pace in here. It's our Gypsy Dancer by 2 lengths. Matthews Boy's content to sit the pocket, 2.5 back. O'Shade is third. The Grinch skims the cones in fourth. Gaetano is racing in fifth, and Coyote Hanover sixth and last. Straight alignment as they round the turn, half-mile pole bound, with our Gypsy Dancer putting up the numbers. It's our Gypsy Dancer by just over a length. Matthews Boy is sitting the 2-hole trip, and O'Shade is the first to pull. He's ranging up first over. 101 flat for halftime. The Grinch is back to fourth, and moving up to pick up live cover is Coyote Hanover, trailing the field Gaetano as they race down the backstretch, less than 3/8 out. It's our Gypsy Dancer by 1 length. O'Shade is just off his flank, parked out, uncovered on the rim second. Matthews Boy remains in the pocket third. Second over, Coyote Hanover is racing in fourth. He's 2.5 off the lead, followed by a hemmed-in The Grinch. And Gaetano is last. 5 lengths cover him in 1:30-1, 29-1 on the third quarter as they move around to the top of the stretch. Our Gypsy Dancer continues to be pressed by O'Shade on the outside. Matthews Boy will look to duck down to the passing lane, and Coyote Hanover fans out wide as they come down the stretch. It's our Gypsy Dancer. O'Shade is second. Matthews Boy is third, but it's our Gypsy Dancer with much in reserve. He wins it by 2. Matthews Boy and O'Shade 158-3. This win in 158-3 for Robert Dalrymple, trainer Dave Abbott, Bob Harper, the winning driver. Our Gypsy Dancer is a 2-year-old King Gypsy colt out of Toe Dancer by Direct Scooter. This series is sponsored by Hickory Lane Farms. 3-2 exact, 11:20. Try 3-2-5, 47.80. 3-3 double, 52.40. Two-year-old Colt Pacers on the track for their first division of the second leg of Ohio Sire Stakes, $20,000 the purse. Number 1 is Dr. Jeff, owned by Jeff Miller Stable and Dorothy Miller. Jeff Miller trains and drives. 2 Laughing is an Art, owned by Gail Potter, conditioned by John Ackley. His pilot is Jack Daly. 3 Sam's Cupid, owned by Posty, Ramagli, Anstead, and Cox, trained by Scott Cox. Jim Paliano's up. 4 Raking in the Bucks is owned by Gary Adams, trained by Jerry Kutchback with Brett Miller. Danny's Trick, the 5, owned by Billy and Opal Sizemore, trained and driven by Jeff Smith. 6 Sam's Trick is owned by Dale Sweet and John Gherkin Jr., trained by Everett Need with Dave Hawk. 7 is the Music Pan, owned by Peter Pan Stables, trained by Ivan Sugg, Kurt Sugg. 8 He's a Peach, owned by Charles Miller, trained by Gary Gilliland with Chip Noble. Perfect Waverly, the 9, owned by Steiner Stock Farm and Keith Ross, trained by Terry Harper. Bob Harper's up. 10 is Sid the Squid, owned by Jeff Lawton, trained by Jim Perry with Todd Jones. There they go. They're off. First away from the inside, it's Laughing is an Art going off stride in the center. Danny's Trick, and Laughing is an Art is quickly overtaken by Sam's Cupid, who tries to press on by and clear the lead, and now does so. Raking in the Bucks settles away in the 3-hole, gap of 3 to Dr. Jeff racing in 4th. In 5th position is Sam's Trick, already 10 lengths off the lead. Then we get Sid the Squid, followed by the Music Pan. He's a Peach, Perfect Waverly, and the distant trailer after the break is Danny's Trick, and Raking in the Bucks is out early, taking over the lead from Sam's Cupid, 20 28 seconds flat as they move by the stands for the first time. It's raking in the Bucks now, dictating the pace by 2 lengths. Sam's Cupid rides the center line in second. Looks like he'll settle back into the pocket. Laughing as an Artist third. Gap of 3. Dr. Jeff races fourth. Sam's Trick starting up on the outside. Sid the Squid will move in the flow. And then it's 2 more to the Music Pan, followed by He's a Peach and Perfect Waverly. Distant trailer remains Danny's Trick. Halftime put up by the pace setter, raking in the Bucks. 57-3. It's raking in the Bucks by 2 lengths. Sam's Cupid follows along in second, followed by Sam's Trick, who's making steady progress on the rim third. Laughing as an Artist back to fourth. Dr. Jeff hemmed in fifth. Sid the Squid gaps covered but advances under the whip on the outside sixth. He's 4 off the pace now. Then we get the Music Pan, who comes into the covered tier. Perfect Waverly's outside of He's a Peach as they wheel by 3/4. It's all raking in the Bucks. 126-2 comes the third quarter of 28-4 as they move to the head of the stretch. It's raking in the Bucks by 2 lengths. Sam's Cupid remains the closest pursuer. Sid the Squid's out 3 wide, followed by Laughing as an Art, and Sam's Trick fades out of contention as they come down the stretch. And Brett Miller goes to work on raking in the Bucks, leads by 3. Sid the Squid closing down the center, followed by Sam's Cupid. The Music Pan's on the outside, but raking in the Bucks, he is home on top in the first division of the 2-year-old colt pace. Sid the Squid was second, the Music Pan up third in 156-4. 410 exact, comes back $18 even. Try 410-7, 333.40. And Brad Miller's back in the winner's circle with raking in the Bucks, lowering his career best mile to 156-4 for Gary Adams of Circleville. Trainer Jerry Kutchback. He's a 2-year-old Park Place colt at a bet he's missed by a landslide. Otters are on the track for their second division of this, the second leg of Ohio Sire Stakes. $20,000 the purse. Number 1 is Message Machine, owned by Miller, Martin, and Martin, trained by Bill Emerson with David Myers. To Ride the Storm, owned, trained, and driven by Joel Miller. Golden Riddle is the 3. He's owned in partnership by Murray, Sherman, Walter, and Leeser. Kent Sherman trains. Brett Miller's up. For a Rose Run Ego, owned by the Rose Run Farm, trained by Barb Lewis with Dave Hawk. 5, Naptown Whiz, owned by the White Creek Stable, trained by Charlie Beaver, Chip Noble, the pilot. HZ Easy is the 6, owned by Slaughter, Davis, Spearman, and Davis. Tom Davis trains and drives. 7 is Gal's Lucky Nooner, owned by Kelly and Roberts, trained and driven by Jerry Roberts. 8, Flawless Strike, owned by the Second Chance Stable and B.J. Ranieri. Marty Willem trains. Jim Paliano's aboard. 9, Rick, owned by Robert Slowey, trained by Mike Metters, Jamie Dunlap. 10, Becoming Over, is owned by Steck, Fissel, and Chapman, trained by Ron Steck, driven by Ron Steck. 2-year-old colt and gelding trotters are lined up for their second division of the second leg of Ohio Sire Stakes, and they're off. Rick was slow to begin, and now he's on a break. HZ Easy steps out for the lead, but there goes Gal's Lucky Nooner from the outside, and Gal's Lucky Nooner will clear off as they enter the turn. Gapped out in third is Golden Riddle. Parked in fourth is Rose Run Eagle. Followed by Naptown Whiz in the 5th spot. Racing in 6th is Message Machine. 3 more to Flawless Strike. And then we get Becoming Over. Ride the Storm is near the back of the pack and going on a run the 3. Golden Riddle opening quarter. 30 seconds flat as they trot by the stands for the first time. Your tempo setter is Gal's Lucky Nooner. He's in front by 2.5 lengths. HZ Easy follows from the pocket second, followed by Flawless Strike coming with a bid on the outside third, gaining ground 4 lengths off the lead. Naptown Whiz back to 4th. Rose Run Ego follows cover in the 5th spot. Message Machine is racing in 6th. Becoming Over guided to the outside in 7th position as they round the turn. Ride the Storm is in the cover flow, racing in 8th, followed by Golden Riddle, and 3 lengths back to the trailer Rick. Halftime 102 and 2 out of the turn, and they're down the backstretch, and 24 to 1 long shot. Gal's Lucky Nooner is trying to steal this one, leading the way by just over 1 length. Here comes Flawless Strike, attacking on the rim now second. HZ Easy back to 3rd in the pocket. Rose Run Ego has made headway into 4th, now into 3rd position. And then it's 2 lengths farther back to Becoming Over outside of Naptown Whiz. Then we get Message Machine. Golden Riddle made another break. 3/4, 133 flat. Moving around to the top of the stretch, and Gal's Lucky Nooner is fending off a challenge from Flawless Strike, who's a half length back in 2nd. 3 wide, Rose Run Ego comes into 3rd. HZ Easy is right there in the pocket 4th as the field straightens away, and they chase Gal's Lucky Nooner down the stretch. It's Gal's Lucky Nooner. Here comes Rose Run Ego down the center, followed by HZ Easy and Naptown Whiz. HZ Easy strikes the front, and HZ Easy and Tom Davis are going to win it. Finishing second, Gal's Lucky Nooner. Then it was Naptown Whiz in the 2nd division of the freshman trot, 203 and 2. The winner's circle, the longest shot on the board, winning at 60 to 1 odds. A 2-year-old Armbro Laser gelding out of No More Lies by Crowning Point, owned in partnership by Slaughter, Davis, Spearman, and Davis of Kentucky, PA, and Ohio. Tom Davis trains and drives the winner, HC Easy, who covered the mile in 203 and 2 in the 2nd division, the 2nd leg of Ohio Sire Stakes 2-year-old colt and gelding trot. In the winner's circle, helping to make the trophy presentation to the winning connections with the Ohio Standard Bred Development Fund, Mr. Bob Schmidt. $52.20. The try was uncovered, 6-7 all, was 1,788 even. First leg of the Hickory Lane Farm Series with exacta and trifecta wagering. Number 1 is Monsieur Parfait, owned by Code Burns, Millard, and Fraser, driven by David Myers. 2, King of Cards, owned by Oldfield Farm, Inc., Bob Harper's up. 3, Burton Bobby is owned by Pauline Bryant and Donald Cockrell with Bucky Trout. 4, Royal Command is owned by Sterling Brook Farms, Del S. Miller drives. 5, Western Genius is owned by FTF Inc. with Brett Miller. 6, Upfront Richie, owned by Ed Mullinax and Mark Maynard. Dave Hawk, the driver, 7 minutes. Lined up in the backstretch, and there they go. They're off. Royal Command goes out to take the lead. Burton Bobby tried to challenge him early, and he went off stride. King of Cards drives through at the pocket 2nd, followed by Monsieur Parfait 3rd by 2.5. Western Genius is next. Then it's Upfront Richie, and 3.5 lengths back to Burt and Bobby, and Royal Command now kicks away by 2.5 lengths on King of Cards. And then we get Monsieur Parfait racing in the 3rd spot. Western Genius is next. Then it's Upfront Richie, and getting rough and going inside the pylons, Burt and Bobby. 29 seconds for the opening quarter as they move by the stands for the first time. And it's Royal Command dictating the pace. He's on top by 2. King of Cards tracks in from 2nd. Monsieur Parfait getting the 3-hole trip, followed by Western Genius in 4th. Upfront Richie is 5th. He's better than 7 lengths off the lead, and Burton Bobby has caught the field as they round the turn single file. They're being led by Royal Command. It's Royal Command in charge here, showing the way by just over 1, hitting the half in 59 and 4. Royal Command is in front now by 2 lengths. King of Cards is racing along in the garden spot 2nd, and Dave Myers guides Monsieur Parfait to the outside. He's rolling up first over from 3rd. Gap of 2. Upfront Richie 2nd over in the 4th spot as the top 5 tighten in. Western Genius remains in 5th, and then 3.5 lengths back to Burt and Bobby as they head for the far turn, and Royal Command maintains a 1-length advantage on Monsieur Parfait, who's inching up on the outside. Then it's King of Cards, Upfront Richie, and Western Genius, 129 and 3 on around to the top. top of the stretch. It's Royal Command with the lead of a neck, taking heavy pressure from Monsieur Parfait on the outside. 3 lengths back, the King of Cards up front. Richie, Western Genius tries to kick into gear on the far outside. He's 5 off the lead as they come to the final 16th, and Royal Command, with much left in reserve, opens up late. It's Royal Command, Monsieur Parfait, and Western Genius in 158 and 2. Royal Command is back to the winner's circle for the first time, 158 and 2 for Sterling Brook Farms of Sheldonville, Massachusetts. Jim Arledge Jr., the winning trainer. Dallas Miller drove him to victory. Royal Command is a 2-year-old Falcon Sealster out of Sun Made by Troublemaker, and this series again sponsored by Hickory Lane Farms. Rundown: Monsieur Parfait second, King of Cards fifth, Burton Bobby was sixth, Royal Command the winner, Western Genius third, up front Richie fourth, 2, 5, 6, 1, 3, 4. Field of 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers for the second division of the second leg of Ohio Sire Stakes. Number 1 is Arts Tiger, owned by Winters, Bean, and Clarkson, trained and driven by Mark Winters. 2 is Come On E-Man, owned by Jerry Summers and Brady Churches, trained by Mike Metters. Jamie Dunlap is up. Number 3, Room and Board, is owned by Dennis Sheehan, trained by Mark Deaton with Todd Jones. For My Good Sam, owned by Wilma Steyer, Brooke Sayer is the trainer. Al Jones. 5 Derby Connection, owned by William Heil, trained by Bruce Walls with Jeff Fout. Secret Harbor from Post 6 for Ed Mullinax and Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly O'Donnell conditions, Dave Hawk drives. 7 Homestand is owned by Smiley and Guerin. Rick Guerin trains, Brett Miller's aboard. 8 Stinky Flynn, Jack Daly drives and trains for owner James Cargo. 9 Fritzy.com, owned by Fritz and McHenry, trained by Richard Fritz with Chip Noble. And the 10 is Whizzer, owned by Joe Pilatus, trained by Ray Crawford with Greg Grismore. Post time in 6 minutes. Division of tonight's Ohio Sire Stakes. There they go. They're off. And from between horses, Room and Board emerges with that early lead. From the far outside, Secret Harbor drives on, along with Derby Connection. And then we come to the inside. Come On E-Man. Arts Tiger is racing in 5th. Gap of 2.5 lengths back. Whizzer is in the 6th spot. Parked out in 7th is Homestand, followed by My Good Sam. Then we get Stinky Flynn, who is 2 clear of Fritzy.com, who trails the field as they go to the opening quarter. Todd Jones and Room and Board show the way, 27 and 3. Room and Board on the inside leads it by 2 lengths. And Come On E-Man has opted to drop into the pocket. Arts Tiger is a prominent 3rd. Whizzer is racing in 4th by 2. Secret Harbor moving up on the outside and now flushes out the 10, Whizzer. 3rd over in 6th position is Stinky Flynn. He's got 5 to come. And then we get Derby Connection inside of Fritzy.com. Homestand has 1 horse beaten, and that horse is My Good Sam, as Room and Board leads the way past the half-mile pole in 57 and 3. Off the turn down the backside, Room and Board by 1 length. Whizzer on a steady gain, first up on the rim, 2nd. Come On E-Man is 3rd, and Secret Harbor goes 3 wide around a suddenly tiring Whizzer. Also going 3 wide is Stinky Flynn. He's 5th, but only 2 off the pace. Arts Tiger is racing in 6th. That's the top flight. Then 2.5 back to Homestand. He's underway, 7th, 8 lengths off the lead. 2.5 more to My Good Sam, who passes Derby Connection and Fritzy.com 3/4 in 125 and 3 on around to the top of the stretch. It's Room and Board by 3/4 of a length, flanked by Secret Harbor on the outside, 2nd, 2 back to Stinky Flynn in 3rd, gap of 5 to Arts Tiger and Come On E-Man, who fades as they come down the stretch, and Room and Board is put to full out urging. Secret Harbor trying to gain ground. Stinky Flynn's out in the center. He's in with a chance. Room and Board holds on to win the 2nd division, the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pace over Stinky Flynn. Then it was Secret Harbor, 155. Heading back to the winner's circle is Room and Board. He's a 2-year-old brown colt by Noble and Sam from Kelly's Hat Trick by Towner's Big Guy, owned by Dennis Sheehan, trained by Mark Deaton, and driven to victory by Todd Jones in 1:55. His first career victory in a fast mile. Room and Board taking the second division of tonight's Ohio Sire Stakes 2-year-old colt and gelding pace. Once again in the winner's circle, helping to make the presentation of the winning connections with the Ohio Standard Bred Development Fund, Mr. Bob Schmitz. Freshman colt and gelding trotter is on parade for the 7th. One Magic Chris, owned by Diana Malone. Guy Malone trains. Dave Hawk is up. Two Michael's Line Drive, owned by Blatchford Presser and Presser. Conditioned by Ron Potter. Chip Noble drives. 3 and the Chase, owned by Wyandotte Golf Course. Trained by Ronald Fuller with Tyven Roden. Final Legacy, the 4, owned by Gary Reynolds. Trained and driven by Dan Reynolds. 5 Ashwood Topaz, owned by the Ashwood Farm. Jim Paliano from Marty Willem. 6 Pistol Pack and Trotter, owned by Melissa Levan. Ron Steck for trainer Herb Levan. 7 is Dawn's Fly By, owned by Red and Betty Shaw. Marty Willem trains. Don McCurgan's up. AKC 39, owned by Tish and Kevin Cross. Steve Cross, the trainer. Brad Miller. The 9 is out. The 10 is U.S. Stars and Stripes, owned by Dean Davis and Brenda Sugg. Kurt Sugg trains, and Jeff Fout drives. The 2-year-old colt and gelding trotters are lined up for their 3rd division of tonight's second leg of Ohio Sire Stakes. Going off stride, the 2 Michael's Line Drive, the 3 and the Chase. There they go. They're off to a scattered beginning. Final Legacy steps right out to take command in close company with Ashwood Topaz in second. Dawn's Flyby will angle over to the pylon. She'll grab the 3-hole, then a gap of 2 lengths farther back to Magic Chris. Next in line, it's U.S. Stars and Stripes, followed by Pistol Pack and Trotter. KC 39 is about 5 lengths clear of End the Chase, and then it's much farther back to the trailer Michael's Line Drive as they move around to head stretch. Dan Reynolds and Final Legacy setting the tempo early, leading Ashwood Topaz by 2.5. Dawn's Flyby is third, 30-4 for the opening quarter as they move by the stands for the first time, and they're well strung out, being led by Final Legacy. Final Legacy, sent off as your 4-5 favorite, is in control here as they pass under the wire and head for the turn. Ashwood Topaz drops in from second, gap out 2.5. Dawn's Flyby is third. Magic Chris is about 6 lengths in arrears, racing in the 4th spot. 2.5 back to Pistol Pack and Trotter inside of KC 39, who starts to move up on the outside, and then 4 lengths farther back to End the Chase. 101 and 2 for halftime. Off the turn and down the backstretch, and Final Legacy widens the advantage to 5 lengths as Ashwood Topaz struggles to keep up in second. 2.5 lengths back, Magic Chris is racing in the 3rd spot and gaining ground, 7 off the lead. Dawn's Flyby is racing in 4th by 2. Then we get Pistol Pack and Trotter. KC 39 is off stride, followed by End the Chase as they head for the far turn. It's Final Legacy in complete solitude, 1:30-2. On around to the top of the stretch, Final Legacy by 7 lengths. Magic Chris has improved into second, followed by Ashwood Topaz third. A gap of 3 more to Dawn's Flyby in 4th as Final Legacy turns for home with a 6-length lead. It's all Final Legacy as they trot through the final 8th mile. Magic Chris is trotting along in second, then 3 back to Dawn's Flyby and Ashwood Topaz. But the 3rd division of the 2-year-old colt and gelding trot goes to Final Legacy and Dan Reynolds in 2 minutes and 2. Magic Chris was second, Dawn's Flyby was third. Final Legacy keeps a perfect record, 3 for 3 lifetime with this victory in 2 minutes and 2. It's the fastest of those miles. A 2-year-old bay colt by Striking Sabra out of Winter Finale by Final Score, owned by Gary Reynolds, trained and driven by Dan Reynolds. In the winner's circle, helping make the presentation of the winning connections, OHHA Director Terry Holton. Aces are on the track for the third division of Ohio Sire Stakes for them. Exacted trifecta pick 3 wagering. Number 1 is Distractive Art, owned by James Kohler, conditioned by Brian Brown. He's driven by Bob Harper. 2 Fritzy J-Lo is owned by McHenry, Fritz, and Fritz. Richard Fritz trains. Jack Daly's aboard. 3 Joe Mary is owned by Dean Davis, trained by Kurt Sugg with Dave Hawk. 4 Scooby Cantu, owned by FTF Incorporated. Brett Miller drives for trainer Ron Potter. 5 Perfect Fact is owned by Melissa Levan, trained by Herb Levan with Ron Steck. Tizzo from Post 6 for Gary Luff, trainer Doug Luff. Del S. Miller drives. 7 Ride the Rapids is owned by LaFontaine and Mencken. Merle LaFontaine is the trainer with Dan Noble up. 7 Casino Charlie is owned by Ronald and Douglas Breckler. Scott Mogan conditions, Chip Noble drives. 9 Meadowland Big Sam is owned by Metters, Hoovler, and Sutermeister. Mike Metters trains. Jamie Dunlap up. 10 Speedster Sabra is owned by Norman Kruger and Roger Morlock, trained by Leo Graffito with Greg Grismore. 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pacers are lined up for their third division of tonight's Ohio Sire Stakes. There they go. They're off. The inside trio away well. Joe Mary outpaces them early, though, and takes command. Distractive Art comes away in the pocket second. Now Scooby Cantu is ranging up early on the outside third, and the 2 Fritzy J-Lo backs off the pace in fourth. A length and a half back to Meadowland Big Sam, followed by Speedster Sabra. Then we get Perfect Fact. Casino Charlie looks to land a seat third last in front of Tizzo and Ride the Rapids. Opening quarter, a fast 27-2 as they move by the stands for the first time and park through the first 5/16. Scooby Cantu now clears the lead and shows the way by a length and a quarter from Joe Mary in second. Distractive Art is racing in third. Off stride in fourth was Fritzy J-Lo. So Meadowland Big Sam closes up the big gap and is guided to the outside going up uncovered. Speedster Sabra follows that cover. He's second over in fifth, 4.5 lengths off the lead. Perfect Fact tightens in the sixth spot. Then 2.5 more to Casino Charlie, Ride the Rapids, Tizzo, and pulled up out of the race just in front of the grandstand is Fritzy J-Lo, the half 58-1. Off the turn and down the backstretch, and Scooby Cantu now hands off to Meadowland Big Sam, who clears the lead and opens up by 2.5 lengths. Joe Mary now comes to the outside third, 3.5 lengths off the lead. Distractive Art is racing in fourth. Ride the Rapids is rapidly gaining ground on the outside. He's surging up 3 wide, and then we get Speedster Sabra and Casino Charlie, 126 flat, on around to the top of the stretch. It's Meadowland Big Sam leading the way by 4 lengths. 3 wide, Ride the Rapids into second. Joe Mary is full out third, followed by Scooby Cantu as they come down the stretch. And it's all Meadowland Big Sam leading the way by 4. Battles on for second. Ride the Rapids, Distractive Art down the inside. But the third division of the Colton Gelding Pace goes to Meadowland Big Sam. Finishing second was Ride the Rapids. And then we got Distractive Art in 155-4. Back to the winner's circle, Meadowland Big Sam scores a second straight victory, 155-4. The partnership of Mike Metters, Don Hoovler, and Tina Sudemeister of Ohio. Mike Metters is the winning trainer, and Jamie Dunlap is the winning driver. Meadowland Big Sam now sports a 2-for-3 career record. He's a 2-year-old brown colt by Meadowland Sam out of Come On Big Girl by Towner's Big Guy. Once again in the winner's circle, making the presentation, the winning connections with the OHHA and the Ohio Standardbred Development Fund, Bob Schmitz. It's official. 9-7 exact is $610. Try 971, $1,992.60. Fourth and final division of the second leg of Ohio Sire Stakes for 2-year-old colt and gelding pacers. Number 1, Lots of Guy, is owned by Summit Pacing Acres Limited, trained by Byron Hooley. Derek Hooley drives. Deny Forever is the 2, owned in partnership by Peter McCann and Gail McCann. Jim Arledge Jr. trains. Dallas Miller's up. Dan Reynolds trains and drives the 3, Higher Calling, for owner Gary Reynolds. 4, SW's Forever's Boy, owned by Bob Chapman, trained and driven by Ron Stack. 5, Cam's Clever Trick is owned by Jeff Laudnan, trained by James Perry with Todd Jones. 6, First Foxy is owned by the White Creek Stable, trained by Charles Beaver with Jeff Fout. 7, Potato Stand is owned by Earl Bowman, the trainer, and driven by Greg Grismore. Fusimo is the 8, owned by Ader, Fitzgerald, and Hallard, trained and driven by Dan Ader. 9 is Grandpa's Choice, owned by Jack Shearer, trained by Scott Cox with Brett Miller. 7 minutes. 2-year-old pacers are lined up for their 4th and final division of Ohio Sire Stakes tonight. There they go. They're off. Higher Calling, it takes a narrow lead. Cam's Clever Trick drives out from the center. First Foxy's in early contention from furthest out. SW Forever's Boy comes away just off the pace in 4th by 2. Then we get Lots of Guy, followed by Deny Forever. Looking to take a tuck is Potato Stand. Then it's Fusimo, and trailing the field is Grandpa's Choice, as on the outside, First Foxy tackles Cam's Clever Trick in 27-2. Moving by the stands for the first time, and it's First Foxy now showing the way for Jeff Fout, leading the way by just over 1. Cam's Clever Trick, Todd Jones taking a sharp hold of that one in second. A gap of 2 lengths farther back, Higher Calling is third. Gap of 3, SW Forever's Boy is in the 4th spot. Then 5 more lengths to Lots of Guy. Potato Stand is starting up on the outside, but he's got better than 12 to make up. Deny Forever is next. He's inside of Fusimo, and then 2.5 lengths back to the trailer. Grandpa's Choice. It's First Foxy on an open lead, hitting the half in 57-1. First Foxy by 2 lengths. Cam's Clever Trick drafts in from second, now a very snug second. Lots of Guy is first up, steadily gaining ground. He's bringing Potato Stand along with him. Higher Calling is locked in 5th. Third over in 6th is Fusimo, who just passed SW Forever's Boy. And then we come 2.5 lengths farther back to Grandpa's Choice, and much farther back to Deny Forever. As they head for 3/4, it's First Foxy leading the way, 127 flat. First Foxy trying to go coast to coast, leads it by 2. Cam's Clever Trick is second. Lots of Guy is stalled in between horses, as is Potato Stand 3 wide, and that forces Fusimo up 4 wide as they bend off the turn and come down the stretch. It's First Foxy leading the way by 2.5 lengths. Cam's Clever Trick is out for the drive in second, followed by a late closing Lots of Guy, who just went off stride. But First Foxy is now 2 for 2 lifetime, taking the 4th division of the 2-year-old colt and gelding pace. Finishing second was Cam's Clever Trick. Fusimo is up third, 156-1. First Foxy is back in the winner's circle for his second straight victory, 156-1. For the White Creek Stable Incorporated, trainer Charlie Beaver, driven to victory by Jeff Fout. He's a 2-year-old Noble Land Sam colt out of First Foxy Lady by Abercrombie, bred by the owner. 6.5 exact is $7.80. Try 658, $91.80. Wolof owned by Philip Hauser. Dan Ader drives. Two Camtastic Lover is owned by Jack and Gertrude Morgan. Jack Morgan drives. 3, Scarface 1 is owned by Richard and Dominic Tulo with Bob Harper. World leader is the 4, Ken Briggs, the owner, Sandy Beatty. 5, Bolero Hanover, owned by Joe Sabraco with Jeff Fout. 6, Yorktown, owned by Homebred Limited, Ron Steck. 7, Funtime Big Guy, owned by FTF Incorporated, Brett Miller. 8, Paradise Charmer, owned by Cohen and Midland, Del S. Miller. 9, Typhoid is owned by Michael Graney with Bill Walters, and the 10 is Little Lester, owned by Ira Christel with Todd Jones. Lined up in the backstretch, and there they go. They're off. It's a slow beginning for the 1. Wolof is back trailing the field. Funtime Big Guy from the outside tries for the lead, along with World Leader from the inside. Those two hook up as they round the far turn. Bolero Hanover is parked out in 4th. Camtastic Lover drives through into the 3rd spot now. And then we come 2.5 lengths farther back to at the inside. That is a Yorktown, and then it's Scarface 1, opening quarter 27-2 as they move by the stands for the first time. And Funtime Big Guy looks to work his way past World Leader as they move in front of the grandstand. Camtastic Lover looks at it from 3rd, followed by Bolero Hanover in the 4th spot. Length and a half more, Yorktown is brought out from 5th and now gets the cover of Bolero Hanover. 3rd over in 6th position is Scarface 1 outside of Paradise Charmer, and then we get Little Lester, who's racing 3rd last to Wolof and Typhoid as they round the turn on their way to the half-mile pole. It's Funtime Big Guy leading the way, 57-4. Funtime Big Guy by just over a length. Bolero Hanover to take him on from the outside. 2nd, World Leaders back to 3rd by a length and a half. Camtastic Lover is racing in 4th. Gapping cover badly. Yorktown is 5 off the lead in 5th. Forced up 3 wide is Scarface 1. He's going to have to do better. Then we get Paradise Charmer, nowhere to go. Little Lester's 4 wide. Wolof has 1 horse beaten, and that is Typhoid as they head around the far turn. And Bolero Hanover now clears Funtime Big Guy, but has World Leader to contend with. 125-4 on around the head stretch, and World Leader from the center of the track pokes a nose in front. Bolero Hanover's fighting back. Funtime Big Guy is back to 3rd. Camtastic Lover is 4th as they come down the stretch. And it's World Leader who powers into the lead. Bolero Hanover trying to fight back in 2nd. Funtime Big Guy's 3rd, but the nightcap goes to World Leader and Sandy Beatty by a length and a half. Finishing 2nd was Bolero Hanover, and then it was Funtime Big Guy. Photo for 4th between Wolof and Typhoid. 154-4. World Leader for the 2nd time this season, 154-4, career best mile. He's a 3-year-old bay colt by Harold Leader out of Tangelo Skipper by Skipper's Choice. Owned by Ken Briggs of Dayton, Ohio, trained by Bob Burns, Sandy Beatty, the winning driver. 579, 5,000, 448.20. 3 of 3 in the pick 3, 109.40.